Yeah, I don't think I can get other than a picture of the ghost.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, oh, oh!
What?
My band bot. It worked. What is moving my
Welcome to the
door?
party, pal.
Wah wah. See any fingerprints?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, and the bot just got banned. Boom, boom. Nice. Okay. So today I wanted to do something a little different. Um, I've been streaming for a little while on Twitch, and recently I decided to kind of like make my own Twitch bot to sort of moderate the chat and react to certain commands. I know there's a lot of free ones out there like Nightbot and Stream Elements. I do use Stream Elements as well, but this just gives me a more personalized feel to it, and I can kind of put in whatever I want in terms of how it bans people and which commands it looks for and what sounds it'll play. Anyway, to get started, I found the just the basic program. If you look up Your Brain on Computers on YouTube, he has a video called "We Create a Twitch Bot with C# and .NET Core in less than 5 minutes." So that video will get you entirely set up on just creating a basic uh, bot that'll connect to your chat and read the messages. But that's it. It will just read the messages and kind of like report on what those messages are on your DOS, but it won't do anything in the chat. I will put a link to his video in the comments or in the description, as well as he's got the source code on GitHub, so you can actually download the entire bot pre-made and it'll just run. You just need to put in your credentials, which is under this personal info tag here, that because I don't want you logging in as me. So what we're going to do here is just kind of go through the code and comment most of it. Anything that I've added. So the command responder is something I built. It reads the messages that are incoming and decides how to reply. Gives the reply back to the main program. Right? Gives it back to here, and then it gives it, which passes it to the IRC or IRC client. Okay, so then we've got this. We've got a string of viewers. Now this is important because I want it to greet people. So this creates a new list of viewers at start to greet anyone who chats. So that's what that does. It's just creating an empty list. And then the next line where it says add, what I'm doing there is add stream elements to viewers. So it won't greet them. That's all that does. It just adds stream elements every single time, so it knows not to greet it. And then this is more of the pinger, which is part of the base program. It just makes sure that every 5 minutes it sends a ping in case you aren't sending any messages through the bot, so that it doesn't disconnect them. And then it starts it. And then while true, this is your base loop of the program. So while true, the program's going to run, period. It's just going to keep running and never stop. You could add something in here, like write end and true equals false, or return false, or return, and then it would get out of the loop, and it would essentially end the program. It would just be done. So you could actually have a command to turn off the bot, but you might run into the problem of, then you would have to put in like, okay, so it reads the name, as long as it's coming from you it's okay, but anybody else, then it would not do that. So anyway, so next we have, this is just base code, so we have it's reading the message, or it writes the line reading the message, then it gets the message from the client, which it sets to that. So message is whatever it read. And then it writes the line, whatever the message is, on your DOS code so you can see it. So it's just going to be in your console. It's not going to actually write anything to the program. It's just going to write it so you can see and kind of like debug. Now, this is something, if ponged has happened, which means the program has had a second to run, and it contains private message, which that's a special Twitch tag. So whenever you're doing anything in the IRC, they have to have tags like ban, or, well, post, or end, or connect. But private message is the one that is, it's just a message being sent to the Twitch chat. So anything that contains that tag specifically will be a message, and therefore it's from someone. So it checks to make sure that, like, the program has run loop once, because it should get the ping and the pong right away, and so that means it needs to run the loop once, and then it'll get the ponged result, which that becomes true pretty much right away, and then it never becomes false again, because I just want to make sure it's had enough time to connect, and the things that it's reading aren't code of any sort or from the server. And check that it's post. Twitch, which one of my bots actually does that. I think it's the Restream chat bot. It'll automatically repost it to Twitch. Use Restream, get Facebook and YouTube comments. I'll just do a slash there to format it so that we can tell it's a little different. Okay, so that's, yeah, you just want to check that the program has run its loop once, and check that it's opposed to Twitch, and it'll get the Facebook and YouTube comments and automatically post them to Twitch, so it'll have that private message thing. And then Okay, so it's passing the list and the message to name check and greet. So we're gonna have to go to our responder, and then we can go all the way down here to name check and greet. So that's what a function looks like. A function is just a block that does a specific thing with certain parts or even without parts. So like this one, the name check and greet, if the viewers, which it just gave it, if that list contains name return input message, so it takes that message and then it runs it through another function, which literally is a loop. If it contains Restream or YouTube, then it gets their name a certain way. If it contains Facebook or Restream, then it gets it a certain way. Else it gets it a specific way, and then it gives the name back. So see, it's a public string. That means it returns something. You'll see a lot like public bool. That means it has to be returns true or false anytime. So yeah, so we have our name check and greet. So if they're in the list, then it's true, and if they're not in the list, it's false. Okay, so we go back to our program. So it's like, okay, if it's false, then what do we do here? See, that exclamation point means, like, if not. If that's false. Bad. Like, if I take the exclamation point off, it just means true. If it's true. I could also do this, it's the long way around, where you go if equals false. That would work too, and it's probably a bit more familiar to people, but if you can, it's like, why not just shorten it to the little exclamation point. So if it's false, it'll add the viewers, it'll take their name, and then it'll add it to the viewers, and then it'll send them a chat message, which it sends responder greeting. So it sends a specific chat message. It goes through greeting, it takes the message, and it goes, welcome to the party, pal. It gets their name, and it goes, welcome to the party, and then adds their name with an exclamation point, returns that, and then it does it. It sends that message to the chat. So it plays a noise for me, that one specifically, which is just kind of like one of the advanced things you can do. Now the other thing I wanted to go over actually was the band bot, which right here. So I actually had to add that directly in. Check if someone needs to be banned. So, what we've got, the responder has a bool called clear messages. So we go in here. And it should just... yeah. So under our commands and replies, we've got clear messages and a string, which is the offender's name. So let's see. Next, so what happens is it goes to the client, and it goes ban. Well, let's see what. Oh, right. So if it's reading a message... I should put it in the name check, probably. That would do it too. But here it is, right after test command, which would be the one way that they could get around it, because it's a hierarchy, the way I do it. If else means it'll check each one individually. And the first one that comes up, it's done. It's not going to keep going. So if the test command shows up, it does whatever, which is just me testing things out, a way to debug things. But then if it contains either the big follows or big follow salt, if you've streamed for a little while, you've seen these big follow ads, and you're probably fed up with them. Like, here's an example, of course. The first time it popped up in my debug, I copied that message and I put it down so I would know exactly what to look for. All those special characters they use to show up as question marks. So they probably get around a lot of stuff because people are want to become famous and stuff like that. Whereas what I'm looking for is in my commands and replies. So big follows. Big follows 1 is the site. So they have that space in there. Anybody who writes that with that little space in there is going to get tagged. But not just that. That click RU site, I don't even care because the backslash seems to change whatever's the few letters afterwards. It's that click.ru that they always use. So I've got that as well. And then my reply was being banned for being an unregistered bot. Bot versus bot, I win. So basically, where was I? So yeah, it goes into the check reply, and if it contains either that bigfollowspace.com or that click.ru, then it immediately gets their username. It's like, what is their name? Get the reply ready. Tell them that, like, put down that there is somebody to be cleared out of here, and get their username. Set the offender to the username, and then return the reply. And then we go back. So then now that's true. So it comes through in the program. This is the last thing it checks. If the responder has that true, which it just would have because it would have just tagged somebody, it goes to the client and it goes banned user with the responder offender's name. Now, the banned user right here. So it's just a string, the name, public void. That means it doesn't return anything. It doesn't send anything back to the program to be read. It just does something. And in this case, it sends an IRC message. So it takes the message, which needs like your username, which was all private stuff you'll put in whenever you build the program for yourself. Sends it as a private message to the channel, and then this is the only thing I added. See, if you look at the send chat message, it's almost identical, except for the back bit. So, if you've made your bot a moderator and VIP in the chat, then it can do stuff like this, which all it needs to do is do a /ban, and then the name, just like you would in the chat. And boom, it's just like that. I've been trying to try to get follows. None of this works. All of it's written in JavaScript, and I'm having issues translating. I'm not 100% in JavaScript. Not even 10% in JavaScript. I generally just do C#. But yeah, that's how to ban the user. But basically, that's all the building blocks you're going to need to kind of get this off the ground. You can build lots of other little programs, like this is just a dice roller. It just holds a one program, which takes in, whenever you do this, it returns a number between 1 and 20. That's it. That's all it does. And then I just put it in the hierarchy. So anytime somebody inputs a message, the greeting is separate, so they will greet them and also send a reply based on a command. So yeah, you just have to put in, like, I don't have to use, like, these are all saved in, like, hard-coded into it, basically. So it's like, D20 is that's YouTube, that's the test command, that's how to ask for commands. If you wanted to, like, just for ease of reading, it's like you can do stuff like that, where you can just write it. Like here, contains big follows. If I didn't want to do that, I could just do bigfollows.com, and it would read the exact same. This is just readability stuff. But learning how to use I'm forgetting the word. Variables, that's it. Variables and strings and stuff like that will make your life a lot easier. So the sooner you can get used to doing stuff like that, the better. And then you'll slowly kind of learn more advanced stuff. It's like, see, this is just, if somebody puts in the D20 command, it makes a new dice roller, which rolls the dice, and then replies with what they rolled. And if that number happened to be a 1, it adds critical fail. And if it's a 20, then it adds critical success. And then it returns that reply. Simple. Like, before I got learning coding, I thought it was so damn complicated. Like, you had to code all the ones and the zeros from scratch, but a lot of this stuff is pretty much pre-made. You just got to go out and look it up and then figure out how to bend it to your will. But I hope this was insightful for some of you, and that you can, learn to do your own little bot. Because, I mean, it's handy to have a branded bot, because you get to create their own picture and name and everything, so it's not just, oh, Nightbot's literally everywhere. Okay, well, I hope this was a learning experience for everyone.